Hello folks, this is Scott with Dallas Paint Correction and Auto Detailing here in Dallas, Texas with the magic hand, the magic wand, all of it, right? I hope you guys are all loving one another, being safe, having a good time. I want to talk about something because there's been a question that's been asked of me a lot lately here on my YouTube channel. Scott, what is the best power washer for my car? Well, that's a really difficult conversation to have. What is your budget? What are your expectations? What level of quality are you looking for? That can go on and on and on. But more importantly, I think the better question you should be asking yourself is not that quality and value isn't important, but I want you to ask yourself, what is the appropriate amount of pressure? What's the appropriate power washer that's safe for my vehicle, can remove the contaminants on the car, and do it safely? Folks, I want to talk about something. If you think bigger is always better, you're wrong. When it comes to power washing or cleaning, hopefully the wind's not too bad. I got some wind blowing in my face, but I don't know if the camera's going to pick it up. It probably is. Come on, wind, go away. I'm trying to talk to everybody. But, whoops. But as far as pressure is concerned, there is a sweet spot here, because if you're trying to get a big power washer, 3,000 PSI, I think you might be missing a very vital point, and I want to go over it, because bigger is not always better. Unless you're talking to your significant other, well, I can't help you with that. You're on your own with that one. But I want to talk about how much pressure. The pressure that I use, the power washer I use, is 1,500 PSI. In fact, by the time the water comes out of the pump of the power washer, through the hose and through the wand, and out my 45-degree nozzle, it's probably somewhere around 1,200 or 1,300 PSI. It's even a little bit less. But here's the deal. When you're talking about using a power washer on the car, if you're using a power washer that's like 3,000 PSI, what's going to happen is you're going to want to be far away from the surface of the car. You don't want to damage the vehicle. You don't want to blow a side view mirror off some older antique vehicle. So really 1,500 or somewhere around there is the sweet spot. Why? Because if I actually run this thing, watch how close I get to the paint. I might have some bugs, maybe a little tar that got on my car that's only been sitting there for a day, and I might be able to bust it off the clear coat without using too much pressure, but I can get really close with this nozzle and not hurt the clear coat. That's kind of crucial. You want a sweet spot of being able to remove contaminants off the paint, flush them off the paint, get close enough with just the right amount of pressure to do it safely. I don't know if you're in, yeah, I think it's in the camera view. Let me turn this mirror to the side. I don't know if you guys can see that on the camera, but I got little bug splatters right from the last time I drove. That stinks. Now, if I had a 3,000 PSI power washer, even with a 45-degree nozzle on it, I would not want to get very close to that. That would be, well, that'd be a moron, right? You might damage something. So the fact that this is only 1,500 PSI, guess what? I can get pretty close to that and save myself from having to agitate it with my soap and wash mitt when I get to that point. I can just blow it off the car and do it safely. So that's kind of cool. That saves me a little bit of time when I go in with my contact wash. I don't have to go over those areas so aggressively with my wash mitt and soap. So really the whole point of this video is, what is the best power washer? There's probably people out there that would say Krenzel or Kranzel, however you say it. And that's probably true. The quality of those things is, you can't match it. They're built like tanks. They'll last forever. But for me, on a professional level, let me show you my little power washer, because I want to make a point. Now you guys got to remember, I'm mobile, right? So I'm going to be taking this thing in and out of my truck. Look at this little thing. A lot of people tease me about it. 1,500 PSI Greenworks power washer. The thing is so small, it can almost fit in my pocket. But why do I love it? Well, I paid $84 for it on Amazon. It's also 1,500 PSI, so it allows me to get really close to surfaces and blow off those bug guts without using something that's like 3,000 PSI and possibly risking damaging the clear coat or anything else on the car. But the other thing is my return on investment. This thing is 3.5 years old. Guess what? Its return on investment was on the first job I went to. Am I saying this is the best power washer on the planet? No, but after 3.5 years and only paying $84, from a business point of view, I couldn't have bought a better power washer, and yet it's completely safe and appropriate to use on the clear coat because of its pressure. I have a really great subscriber, and I love this guy to death. He's been so important to me. I love all of you that I've had a chance to meet online, talk to on the phone, but I got a highly intelligent, very bright man that I talk to. His name is Gregory. He watches my stuff. I'm sure he's gonna, hi Gregory, how are you? But he asked me, he said, Scott, I'm surprised you don't buy a Krenzel or something like that. And I said, you know what, they're just a little bit too expensive for what I'm trying to do. And he says to me, Scott, the things are so great, they'll last forever. You can pass it on to your children. And that was the part I had to scratch my head. If my kids are licking their lips thinking, I can't wait for daddy to leave the planet so I can get a hold of his Krenzel power washer, I got some pretty dirtbag kids. But my point is my return on the investment with the Krenzel wouldn't have been so quick. And the fact that I have to pull it in and out of my truck all the time to be able to go on my service calls, what if I dropped it? What if, being an idiot that I am, I dropped it, broke something on it? Now I've got a downtime. I've got to order parts for it. They're not easy to find. And guess what? I'm going to run right to Lowe's and have to buy one of these to get me by for a while. I love that little piece of junk. $84. I've dropped it, although I'm very good with my equipment. 3.5 years old, 1500 PSI, and completely appropriate to blow off tar, bugs, and be able to get close with it versus a 3000 PSI power washer. Love you all. Hopefully that video makes sense and helps some of you guys with choosing a power washer that would be more appropriate. It doesn't have to be this one. This is not the highest quality, trust me. But after 3.5 years, $84, I love it. Thank you, Little Greenworks. You've been a great friend. You sit in the back of the truck and you and I talk sometimes. Just don't tell anybody. Talk to you later, guys.